I'd like to call the meeting to order. Will you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hello, everybody. It is 1 o'clock. We're in the courthouse, 423 North 5th Street, for our public meeting. I have a proclamation, and then I'll ask for public comment. This is a proclamation, whereas Kansas Association of Family and Community Education is an independent nonprofit organization instituted for the purpose of enriching Kansas families, and whereas the mission of Kansas Association for Family and Community Education is strengthening individuals, families, communities through continuing education, developing leadership, community and action. Whereas in Kansas the past year, 44 counties with 84 FCE groups and approximately 900 members received continuing education through family and community education. Now, therefore, we, Jack Bauer, Eric Knoll, and William W. Paul, Board of County Commissioners of Atchison County, Kansas, do hereby proclaim the week of October 13th through the 19th, 2019 as Kansas Family and Community Education Week. In recognition and appreciation of the Kansas Association for Family and Community Education members' contribution to the state of Kansas, all residents are urged to take proper cognizance therefor. And it's all signed. So, who are the members? All of you are? So, who should we present this to? Well, Carol?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe I'll present it. Okay. Got a camera? The press is here. Carol and I shared a home. What did you share? Whoa, sorry. I lived in Carol's home before she did.
That sounds better.
Yeah.
Double check to make sure everybody's eyes are open. I'll maybe take one more if you don't mind.
Sure.
A couple more. Okay.
You never know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Those are how good your law is.
Thank you, Jeff. Well, that's Larry's job,
Is
not
it?
mine.
Wow.
Thank you. Is there any words of wisdom from the
Well, we're always amazed how fast a year goes when we come to have you sign the proclamation every year. So helps us realize how fast time goes. But just wanted to share with you the overall Kansas FCE's mission statement is to strengthen individuals, families, and communities through continuing education, developing leadership, and community action. And if you'll recall, when we were here last year, we were getting ready to post awareness of human trafficking in Kansas, and Benedictine College graciously let us use their space up there to present that to the community, and we had very good representation from all the different leaders of the city. And this year, our unit members, Carol Pennington and Barbara Higgins from the Terry unit, we have 2 units in Atchison County. So the Terry unit won an award this year at our state conference that was just held last week. And they made lap quilts for Alzheimer's and dementia patients. And they presented those to people here within our own facilities that we have here in Atchison. And the research is showing if they can have a lap quilt where they fidget on something, or fool with a zipper, or a keys, it calls back memories that they can share with their family, because they live in the past, they don't live in the current situation. So if you would have been at conference last week, you would have heard a lot of great stories of what FCEs do all over the state of Kansas. And Mike attended this year with Barbara's this was her first conference to get to attend, and they were both very pleased and shocked at how many different, from our lessons that we have each year, each county or unit can decide how they want to share that within their community. So there were a lot of great stories shared and awards given from all over the state of different.
I'm always
projects.
amazed at the number of people who are helping other people in our community.
Yes.
And most of the time it goes unrecognized or unnoticed.
Yes.
And I will tell you, last year when you did the human trafficking thing, I had so many people comment they never considered some of the things that people were looking at. We could probably use a refresher of that again, because it's a really terrible problem. And thanks for everything you guys do.
Thank you so much for your support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other comments? Terry, do you have something, or?
She's here.
She's here. Oh, she's on the.
Yes.
I didn't look at it carefully. Commissioner comments and committee reports.
Minutes, Mr. Commissioner.
Oh, minutes, I'm sorry. I'm jumping around here. I assume you've had a chance to review the minutes?
I had no corrections.
Is that
Yeah, thank you very much.
a motion to approve?
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve as written.
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Passes 3-0. Commissioner comments and committee reports.
Let's see. I didn't have anything this week.
I have juvenile corrections tomorrow on 11th at 2 o'clock. And then I will come back next Tuesday and tell you all.
Okay, great. Okay. New business before the board. Terry Kanopke.
Yes. Just doing my usual campaign time first. This is our trivia contest coming up, which you guys need to participate in. And then if you will hand these brochures out. Just a few things. You guys are all pretty much up on what we do. These are on the back are the 20 local agencies that we help support. And for whatever reason, the need in Atchison is huge. We have a lot of uneducated, uninsured people. This is my 14th year with United Way, and I don't think that number has gone down at all. And I don't know why, but anyway, we have been looking at ways. Our goal is 210,000. That's about what we made last year. But it's never enough for the 20 agencies we support. We were trying to figure out how we could cut down a little bit, but they are all so important in our community. We, in the county, we support backpacks to go home with the kids on the weekends so that they have healthy meals, and help with seniors. We have people to take food out to them and toiletries. There's just Atchison Child Care. We help with people when the emergencies come up and they can't pay their bills. And we are right now helping with 4 food pantries. The one at First Christian Church, if you go by there on Wednesday afternoons, there's often 2 blocks of people waiting for food. So Boys and Girls Club, that's another great organization. When I started 13 years ago, I went up there and there were 7 kids there. And now there's about 60 every day. That's so needed. We don't have a whole lot for the kids to do here, so we're really trying to support activities that keep them busy. Theater Atchison, we pay for afternoon programs they have that are for the youth. Catholic Charities, they're wonderful. They give help to everybody with rent, utilities. Girl Scouts, Happy Hearts, for people that want to go back to school, they can go back at no charge through Happy Hearts and even have their kids watched for free as they're taking classes. So as you can see, there's no way we can really not support any of them. So we're trying to cut down on our overhead. My office that has been downtown or on the south side of town for 13 years is now in my home. We use my utilities. I don't charge rent. And we're trying to cut me to 20 hours a week. Right now, I'm not quite sure how that's going to work. But that's what we're trying to keep our costs down. So our only output would be me at a 20-hour-a-week basis, and everything else would go to help. So if you guys can make any kind of a donation, all the information is on this pledge card. Call me, I'll bill you every month. However you want to do it would be great. And any help at all would be wonderful. It all stays in our community, and as you all already know, there's help. We need help in every area in this community.
So do we have a meetings here at the county among employees?
No.
Most employers do. Or?
Yes. And if you could arrange that, you know how to contact me. I would come at any time.
I think you need to talk to Jamie Madison, Human Resources.
Yes. Okay, I'll email her and ask her
because
about that.
I think that it's hard to have one meeting with all county employees.
Right.
You know, in fact, yesterday we had our annual training. You might mark it as your calendar. It's always Columbus Day. Might have had you on a presentation.
Yeah, I would have been happy.
Because I think people will be willing to participate.
Yeah, I think if people know about it, at the hospital last year, they invited me to a thing, and I was there all day for 2 days and hit everybody, and they offered a drawing for people that would donate $2 a week. I had so many people sign up. At $2 a week isn't going to hurt anybody, but with all the employees they have,
it's $100 a year.
It made a huge difference. So yeah, I will email her and see.
And I know they have a department meeting every once in a while.
Yeah.
So maybe even the department.
Yeah. If they just give me 5 minutes of their time, that I will do that.
Okay.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you. I would like to plug your fundraiser here, which is a fantastic way if you just want to go out and have a good time. It's a trivia contest. It's up to 8 people on a team. I've participated the last 3 years. Is it going to be at the high school again this year?
It is.
It's November 15th at 7 p.m. Okay, yeah, it says right here
Yeah,
at the high
and
school.
for $15, you can that's for the contest, and there is food and drink all night long
Yes.
at no extra charge.
It's a fantastic time. Challenge people to just go out, get a team up, or better yet, get 2 teams and challenge them to who's going to do the best. And it is very varied, from everything from music to old movies. I think last year one of there was pictures of the settings from the Dick Van Dyke Show and these, and you had to guess which one's Lucille Ball show just by and that was a fun one. And it was just very, very random categories, and it was a ball.
Yeah, we're adding more music this year.
Are you volunteering to organize this?
I'm on a team already, but
I would like to see the county have 2 teams.
Oh, well, we'll have to see what we can do. It's Siobhan Martin's team. She just asked me. That's the first time I ever knew about it. It was just invited through a friend, and no, it wasn't. It wasn't a county team.
Well, I think we got to have a county team. I'm not sure about 2. I don't know how many people we can get.
I'll put you down for 1, and then
we'll try to fill 2.
Oh, that would be great. That would be great. You just
how
let
many
me know,
other
and you can pay the night of.
How many on the team?
8. You can have it paid on a team. And it's $15 a piece, even if you only have 5. We don't charge for 8. It's just $15 a piece. You can pay the night of. So I will put you down for 1 for sure, and then I'll get with you to see if you have any.
Okay, what is it?
November 15th, and he's got the.
I'll put this on our bulletin board, and maybe we can put it right on the county.
Let me give you another couple flyers here because I have plenty. Yeah, that would be awesome. It's really fun. And all of it goes to help out. So. All right. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I love places I actually feel welcome. Don't have to wake people up. So, thanks.
Okay, so next on the agenda is the quarterly payment to the sports complexes at both Effingham and Atchison. Effingham receives $2,500 maintenance for the fourth quarter. Atchison receives $10,000. Chair would entertain a motion to approve this disbursement of money.
I so move, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 3-0. Looks like there's just one signature here. Okay.
There's something that I don't know if it's on the agenda here, and that is the spending authority for public works.
Yeah, I got it here. Yeah.
Okay.
Jay Harbour, who's just been hired as our public works director. I would make a motion that we extend his purchasing authority to $7,500. So he doesn't have to come for us for all these little charges.
I'll second that.
It's moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, assume you're ready to vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, James, enough to spend money. $2,500. Jan. Okay, sanitation code review. Pat, are you taking this?
Yeah, excuse me. I emailed a draft that was prepared by KS, and I apologize for not getting that sent to you sooner, but anyway, it's 30 some pages. There's a couple of new sections that are in there, but for the most part, part one deals with the sanitary systems, whether those be lagoons or hooked up to a sanitary sewer system. Or, anyway, all of those different things. And then part two has to do with water. I got that wrong. Part one is the definitions. Part two deals with the wastewater and disposal. Part three is the water supplies, and that's new. That's wells and etc. And then part four is nuisances, and that's a little bit different than our current nuisance code that we have, or the resolution that we have. But this is the recommendation that's been made by KS. The process for counties to modify their sanitation code requires that they be approved. I shouldn't say approved, that they be submitted to the Kansas Department of Health and Environment for their comments. And they can't dictate, but they can make suggestions. And as part of that process, the recommendation is that we have a committee of stakeholders in the community that look at the codes and make recommendations to you on what ought to be in the code. And for example, an issue that comes up quite a bit involves whether or not a sanitary sewer system needs to be inspected when the property changes hands, when it's sold. And some people will come before you and say that's just a money grab by the county because you're just charging a fee to whenever there's property transferred. There are other people that would come and tell you, I wish that you had that, because if you had that, we would have known that there was a problem with our system. So you'll hear on both sides of that different opinions. And to have some people that are involved in real estate, for example, that can tell you or give you opinions as to how they think the best way to handle that is probably a good thing. So
I've got something I forgot to say during Commissioner comments and committee reports, that I did have a meeting with KES Thursday morning. And this was talked about quite a bit, but a related topic is recently there's been a couple cases of septic system failures that are within the city limits. It's been the city limits of Atchison. It's been property that's been within the last, 7, 8 years, or maybe it's 10 or so years that have been annexed into the city. The city does not provide them with city sewer, and the failing septic systems are then kind of in a quandary because they can't get on the city sewer. The lots are so small, it's very difficult to get a system built on small footage because they don't have enough feet for laterals. These people have, well, I know one case in particular that they went to NEKES for help. The NEKES has authority in the county portion and not in the city. So even though
the city and the county.
well, they can't, they don't have jurisdiction within the city limits. So now they are in a catch-22 where they were asking for help from them to design a system, but they can't permit a system inside the city limits. NEKS is saying that they would like some kind of maybe memorandum of understanding or something with the city, or some way that I think the city would be, because I know the NEKS did work with Mike Steck and met with city officials to get this system approved, but they still don't have any way of permitting a system within the city limits. Would that need to be in, while we're doing this, would there need to be a chapter or anything in our codes? Or is that something that would need to be worked out just with the city of Atchison?
Well, our every code that I can recall that you've adopted involving health and safety and whatnot does not apply within the incorporated limits of the city, and that's the same with the sanitation code. There isn't a reason why that couldn't be changed. If it's something that the city is requesting help from us, I think that, or from any KES, I think that could be done with just an agreement.
Okay.
If it's their request for the assistance, I wouldn't think that would need to be part of the code.
Okay.
But
So if they requested from us,
well, from any KES, right? They're not a part of.
I know they've had meetings with people that are in this situation. Again, the septic system wasn't inspected at the time of the sale, and if they would have been under this code, these landowners, these property holders wouldn't have this problem.
Yeah.
And
I have a little first-hand knowledge. My 3 sons and my 2 nieces inherited my mom's house, and when they built the house, they just had the lateral go out, and they had an agreement with the neighbor, and when they sold it, it had to be on there, and I think they call it BioLoop, but I think she has less than 100 foot laterals and it's working. They're very expensive, but
yeah,
for smaller acreage or smaller lots,
they did get that remedied, and they did have to go to a different type of system. But there's some lots that there are small lots, and if they've got a pool or an outbuilding, they still don't have enough. But that's just part of the. I was just wondering if it needed to be anything in here for this portion of it, and if not, I thought about contacting Mike Steck to see if there's anything that they need from us to get an agreement with NEKES.
to summarize, we have this code and we want to adopt it. That's one issue. The second issue, the city of Atchison has some issues with their citizens about proper sanitation. To me, that's up to the city of Atchison to decide. If they need any help, they should come to us. I don't think we should be going to them and saying, we can help you, because Mike Steck already aware of what can be done.
So I think what Commissioner Ellis said, some of the residents are coming
To NEKES. I was doing this on behalf of more of NEKES.
to Atchison County.
Yeah.
I think it's up to the city of Atchison to take leadership for their own sanitation system.
I agree with that statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted, while we were at adopting this, if there needed to be anything in this code while we were adopting it to deal with that. So that's the question for
And I understand that the city of Atchison offered to put in an amount to let people hook to the sewer when they annexed the property 15 years ago probably, and nobody did it. Now the city says they will not help them connect. So I think the ball's in the city's court. I mean, they're the ones who annexed it. They're responsible for sanitation in the city limits. Let them deal with it.
Yeah, as a board member of KES and dealing with it, and also these people are in my district, I kind of feel I would like to see them represented too. So that's the reason I wanted to bring it up. But today's issue was to see if there needed to be anything in the code. So let's keep on with the code.
Well, that may be even getting a little bit ahead of ourselves because, as I said, part of the process is to form a committee, and it's going to. This is 33 pages, I think, and it's not particularly easy reading, especially when you're on your 8th page of definitions to keep going. But we need to try to identify people in the community that have some knowledge, that have an interest in the subject and are willing to devote several hours of work to read the code and then to sit as a group and have that discussion.
What would kind of some of the parameters? How many meetings do you think it would take, or how much?
I would think 2 or 3 meetings. Not a lot, but I think it's if you read this, it would take at least an hour to read it, and if you wanted to suggest changes, it might take 2 hours to read it before the meeting. And then the meeting's probably going to be in an hour or 2, and then a follow-up meeting to see if there's consensus that changes that are made are.
So to get these members, shall we advertise the local newspaper, promote it on social media, asking them to send their desire to the clerk?
Yeah, I think a request for letters of interest, and then you can pick among them. I don't know that there's a hard and fast rule about how many people you need to have on there.
I think we need to keep it fairly concise because if you get 30 people, it's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's going to be.
It has to be concise. It has to be less than. Should be able to feed the committee with 1 pizza. That's the way I look at it. That's a rule.
Yeah, I was thinking 10 to 12.
That's 2 pizzas.
That's too many. Okay.
5 or
Well, 1
7.
pizza rule.
5 or 7 is adequate. 5 or 7 to participate won't be a problem.
I think we can get, because normally the suggestions from KES were like your home or your county health. I'm trying to think of the terminology here. County health nurse, somebody from sanitation side of things, maybe an installer of systems for KES, somebody from KES itself, realtor. I mean, I'm just throwing this out, generalities. It don't have to be any specific person, but just kind of suggestions of people that would will represent the interest of the community. Community members at large, maybe somebody that's been affected by the.
So, Commissioner, are you suggesting we should contact people on this committee, or should we advertise?
I think we should advertise, but maybe if we do have somebody we think is.
So each of us could do that to somebody.
Yeah. If you think somebody that fits that criteria would be have them apply. But we wouldn't just automatically throw their name in the hat. But I think it would be good to prod.
So the action point would be we would advertise in the newspaper, social media, and people within the governing body and also approach people they think might be effective.
That would be my.
I think that's
approach.
what,
What's that guy's name? Dennis Foster? Would they have any
Yeah,
longer?
yes.
They should
Yeah,
be on.
I haven't talked to Dennis really recently, but I could see his fingerprints on it.
You
Yes.
might be interested in this versus a 40-hour week.
He's been trying to retire for years, so he may be pushing it off to the new sanitarian, or even Martha, the
Right.
director up there at Troy. Any of them are, if you would have one, they would all be kind of involved in it because they're very share information readily.
Private contractor would be good because they'd have knowledge. The first thing you know, that person would probably be getting a lot of jobs, and the other contractors that was asked to do it and didn't do it would think, well, that's a great.
Well, they wouldn't be involved only, but just in the decision to adopt this, they wouldn't be involved any further than they wouldn't be going out and looking at systems or anything. It would just be to a couple meetings, advise us whether
It
to
wouldn't
adopt
be,
it.
oh, your system failed. Oh, by the way, here's my card.
so
They wouldn't be there.
have we already decided what we're gonna do, or do we need to?
I don't think you have decided what you're going to do, but
Let's stay on task.
well,
Advertise for it, is that the action we need to take today to form the committee?
to solicit letters of interest from members of the community.
Can we put that advertising and social media onto the clerk?
Yes.
That's what we have done for.
Okay.
Do you want to approach Michelle then and adopt or
Sure.
adopt a letter and put it on the media?
Yes. Yeah, I could do that.
Get Wes to put it on the website, then, our county page.
Michelle can do that too. Did you have something?
Well, I had a lunch meeting, and so I was the SBE group who I helped serve as an advisor. I think had a proclamation
Yeah,
signed
yes.
earlier,
Yeah.
so I'm kind of here. And I thought it was kind of rude to waltz in and not say
Say,
thank you, but
You
kind of
just- you
join
just- you just
listening to
missed
your
him.
business.
you just missed
And I
it.
was going to say, for sanitation, and it's only from the eavesdropping side, I will hear Ray in consulting with K.S.A. and like Dennis Foster, especially in septic tank systems. So that's just maybe a resource for your committee. So
Yeah, you might mention to Ray when you
I
say it.
will tell him that he needs to.
Yeah, let him send an email or something to the clerk
Yeah.
and say he'd like to get the.
Okay, that sounds great.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sounds like you've got lots of good business doing.
Okay, any old or unfinished business before the
Thank you.
board? County council,
Thing in there.
definitely.
It seemed like we put something else last week. Okay.
The county council updates.
We had one more of the sets of deeds that were signed. These were from the 2020 off-system bridge right-of-way acquisition. So those had already been approved and price negotiated. So it was just the signing of deeds, and but that's on the Bottery Jasuda property on the what might be known as the Wallingford Bridge. So those were back today. I think there's just one more that we are that we're needing right now, and I've reached out to the landowners twice in the last month. So that's all I have.
We have the claims to deal with. There's no public comment, so I would entertain a motion to adjourn at 1:35.
I so moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
It's moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Passes for adjourn. We are adjourned.